Hey y'all, what's up?
Hey.
So we have a live show coming up on October 3rd at the Theater at Ace Hotel in LA as part of WNYC's Work It Women's Podcast Festival.
What up?
Turn up. We are going to be interviewing host, actor, model, general badass, feminist, mother, etc., etc.
Speak on it.
Amber Rose.
Yes.
The one and only Amber Rose.
The one and only.
We're also going to interview BuzzFeed's very own Quinta Brunson, who is killing it right now.
Yes, my queen.
And Vine star and my first Vine crush, Victor Pope Jr. I'm kind of nervous.
Internet's favorite crush.
Yes. You can get tickets right now at kcrw.com/events. Do you love Another Round? Well, did you know that you can listen to us on Spotify while still enjoying your favorite tunes? It's easy. Just look for the podcast section within the Browse tab on your mobile device or simply search for your favorite shows. To find more podcasts, head to spotify.com/podcasts.
Hi, everyone. I'm Heben.
And I'm Tracy.
And welcome to Another Round Live with Heben and Tracy in London. Tracy McGee, who do we have on the show today?
Oh my God. So, first of all, we have A1 Bolu Babalola.
Hey!
Yes.
Writer extraordinaire.
The best Twitter feed.
Yes,
very
facts.
Twitter feed. We have the one and only Susan Wokoma.
Hey! Y'all know how much I love chewing gum.
Yes, indeed. But first, we just want to talk about London for a little bit.
Yes.
Y'all are so cute. You are adorable.
I love London so much.
It feels like walking through like a movie set with like the cute little streets that are way too narrow.
Way
Y'all
too
could
narrow.
actually
What's happening in there?
open them up a little bit. But we've had a lot of fun and adventures.
I like how all the guys on Tinder give me their height in centimeters. It's cute. It's fun.
So that we have no idea how tall they actually are.
I'm like, all right, Stuart Little. It's just the metric system, and I'm an American. I apologize.
Yeah.
Also, television in the UK is amazing.
Amazing is an accurate word, but we need to have a talk because y'all do a lot on national TV.
Whatever do you mean, Tracy?
While children are still awake. Okay? So I've had a lot of fun exploring London, but also just sitting in my hotel room and watching TV because y'all are nuts. I have seen naked people go on a date at like 6 p.m.
For some
maybe.
reason, yeah.
Yeah. I was watching an animal show, right? Like funny animal clips because I enjoy animals. Don't know if you knew it. And I was not prepared for the ostrich vagina that I was going to see in this show. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
All right, girl.
But the cool thing is that I was prepped for how crazy y'all's television is because back in the States, I discovered a show on Netflix called Embarrassing Bodies. So you already
I did see you tweeting something about...
I went off. I couldn't believe what I was seeing with my poor little virgin American eyes.
Talk to me about this show.
Okay, so London, I know that y'all know all about Embarrassing Bodies. That grown told me that y'all are in the know, so I don't have to explain this to y'all. But to the rest of our listening audience, here's the premise of Embarrassing Bodies.
Okay.
So this team of doctors, I think they call themselves like the Embarrassing Body Doctors, which not the most creative name. Y'all could have done a little better. And they just get in this truck, right? Like this RV, and they drive and they drive around beckoning people to give them their embarrassing like body problems.
Okay.
And I'm like, this
They
will
don't just
never
go to
work.
a regular doctor?
Right. So you
Like
can't
me?
go tell your doctor, like, hey, doc,
Hi,
I got
doctor,
this,
I have an embarrassing body.
I have this rash, right? But you'll do it in front of television cameras.
Okay.
All right, y'all. Okay. But that's the premise. And people actually do go and talk to these doctors. And they're like, I'm not gonna offend y'all and try to do a British accent. I would never.
Y'all should have heard.
I want you to like me when this is over. But people just go to these folks and they're just like, yeah, my various orifice is like dripping fluid. What do I do, right? And I am not necessarily squeamish. Like
Me. Like what
Right.
just happened with my face.
But what I was not expecting to see was like the orifice that was leaking. Y'all, they showed an entire anus. In the first 5 minutes of the show. It's the first episode of the first season of Embarrassing Ass Bodies. And the thing
Let's
is,
set the tone right.
Okay. So I'm minding my black ass business at home watching Netflix. And there's this very kindly, like auntie-looking older woman who comes in and she's just like, you know, I've got this embarrassing problem, blah, 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 blah. And then she says, it was so cute and British. She was like, there's this a thing, she called it a small tail. on her, it's not the worst part. At the top of her rear passage is how she described her booty hole. I thought it was cute. I'm gonna start calling mine my rear passage.
It kind of reminds me of the middle passage.
Oh my God.
All right, let's shift the mood. What were you saying, Tracy?
Having too much fun. Let's think about slavery.
I apologize.
So she comes in, she's like, I've got this thing, I've got this issue. And I'm enjoying a snack, watching TV or whatever. And then the doctor's like, all right, pop up on the table, let me see. I still don't expect what's about to happen. She gets on this table, y'all. This is somebody's auntie, this is somebody's mama, this is somebody's child. Gets up on the table, pulls her pants down. And I'm like, oh, butt cheeks. I've seen those before, it's cool.
Sure.
But then the doctor spreads, and then the camera closes in to the extent that I couldn't get a screenshot for y'all. Like, we were gonna edit it, but like the entire thing was just...
We tried it in rehearsal and we're like, nah.
It was just...
I don't know if they're ready. I don't know if they're ready.
I am still not ready.
It's too much.
Not ready at all. So naturally, I do what I do to cope with stressful situations, and I live tweet the whole thing. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm watching American Netflix and I'm looking at British booty holes. How? How is this okay? And so the tweets eventually make it to you, lovely folks. And we had a pretty good little round of laugh at the prudish American person who can't believe that she's seeing body parts on TV. And you know what? Well deserved. I deserved it. Because I too have a booty hole.
Sure.
Why am I surprised by somebody else's? And then somebody sent me this tweet, right? It was a funny tweet, but it was also like one of those, like a deep, like one of those deep burn tweets.
Caught you off guard a little bit.
It did. And he was basically like, Americans censor everything but guns. See how it hit you real hard in the chest? You see how it did it? And I was like, wow, he is absolutely motherfucking right.
I feel like I see this all the time in American translations of British shows.
Ooh, talk to me about it.
I live for Skins.
Got some Skins fans.
Zhao and Chris forever. That's the black girl, Zhao. Jolanda. But in the American version, okay, so first of all, it was going to be on MTV, so I knew it'd be trash. The rating system is such that the whole point of Skins, it's supposed to be like an edgy show about teens as they are. Not me as a teen. I wasn't doing drugs, sex,
I
and
didn't go
all this
outside
stuff.
as a teen, so.
But it was like they cursed a lot. It was like supposed to be real. They took some pills and they tried stuff. That was like the whole point of the show, and that's what made it like edgy and real.
And they took it all out of the American version?
And then in the American version, they took all of that out.
Punks.
It was just some sort of like desensitized MTV version of Skins.
Right, like, oh my gosh, we can't talk about this thing that is in everybody's lives.
Right.
You know?
So it was trash, of course. I expected it, but it was.
Yeah, and like speaking of media, it doesn't even stop there, right? Like our rating system, like rated R, rated PG, rated PG-13 makes absolutely positively no motherfucking sense. Something is more likely to get an R rating if there's nudity or sexual content, but you might not necessarily get an R rating for having violence, you know? And if there's a woman being pleasured in the movie, oh no, that's NC-17, that's triple X.
There's an excellent documentary about this.
Yes.
Called This Film Is Not Yet Rated, all about the like weird panel of humans who like come up with the rating for your movie and kind of decide the fate of it. Like if your movie gets NC-17, which is American version of like more than rated R, like it's a wrap for you. You're not going to have a big thing. You
right.
know?
And then the narrative becomes people don't like movies where a woman's being pleasured.
Right.
They don't make money. And I'm just like, you sabotage this shit from the jump. So,
anyways,
what does this say about Americans? First of all, it says something that I feel like everybody knows. Our value system is fucked up. Yes. Super trash.
Speak on
super,
it.
Super trash.
Yes.
Because like we make such a fuss about like our kids seeing some titties in an educational setting. But we, myself included, I consume a lot of trash. Like I love to an unhealthy degree maybe, true crime. Any true crime fans out here? True crime podcast? Okay.
Can't relate.
Bigger in the States. It's cool. No problem. It makes sense. But like it's a whole other reason or a conversation as to why I like true crime. But like I listen to podcasts that tell horrible stories of like molestation and decapitation and serial killings and mass bombings. But then I'm watching Netflix and I'm just like, ooh, that's a booty hole. And I'm just like, and I mean, it makes no sense to be more outraged at our children learning about their bodies than about our children watching other bodies being destroyed, not only in like movies and music, but like on the news, you know? Like our children are watching Black men and women and trans women of color being gunned down on their Twitter feeds. And we're just like, But then Netflix.
It's become a part of your life.
Yeah, and it's scary to think that we're becoming desensitized to that, right? What we are not saying is that London is a utopia, not trying to erase anyone's struggles or not seeing anybody else's narratives. But what we are saying is that we can learn a thing or two from y'all's crazy-ass television system, I think. And I think that thing is to either be more outraged over the violence that our children see or put more booty holes on American television.
I like the last one.
Yeah.
More booty holes, 2K17.
More booty holes. Reclaiming my booty hole. But for real, y'all do a lot on TV.
Yes.
Y'all do a whole lot.
Oh,
yeah.
man, I can't wait to go back to the hotel and watch all these shows.
Also, if you could do me a personal favor and just tweet without any context, reclaiming my booty hole.
For all your friends.
And also titties for science.
Yes.
I'd appreciate it. Don't give any context. Just tweet those two things. It would make me very, very happy. So thank you, London, for having us. Thank you for your crazy-ass television.
Yes, yes.
And thank you for being here at the show.
Yes. So, friends, we are so excited for our first guest.
Yes.
She is a writer. She has a law degree. She's a rom-com enthusiast. What doesn't this woman do? She's currently getting her master's in American politics and history right here at University College London. She's writing her thesis on how African American women have resisted and asserted power and blackness through media and art. My fave.
As if that was not enough, her short story, Netflix and Chill, was shortlisted for the Fourth Estate's BAME competition and is now being made into something for the screen.
Ooh.
We're going to talk to her all about that and more. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to Miss Bolu Babalola.
Hey!
Yes!
What up?
Hi, everyone.
Gosh, you sound just so buttery. I just love the sound of your voice. Okay, so just for you, we're going to resurrect a question that we used to use at the start of all of our interviews.
Okay.
What do you do and why?
So I'm a writer and a producer, mostly writer than producer now. It sounds like such a douchey answer.
I'm
but
listening.
I literally write because I have to. I've written since I was little, as you will see later. It's part of me. So when I had a law degree and I was like, okay, right, so I've appeased my immigrant African parents. So now I'm going to do something that I actually want to do. And I'm really grateful, they were really supportive because they know, because it's part of me. So they've seen it since I was little. So they were like, okay, just do your thing. So I write because I want to. And I feel like I just have so many stories to tell. And I'm always daydreaming. So it's just something that it's like a compulsion, I think. Yeah.
Okay, that wasn't douchey.
Oh.
So you transitioned from law school
Yes.
to producing for the BBC,
Yes.
to academia again,
Yes.
and you are now writing and owning your own work. You've done a lot of shit.
You've dibbled, you've dabbled.
You've dibbled and dabbled a hell of a lot. What have the transitions been like for you?
For me, it was just kind of something that I had to do. With law, I was like, okay, I have to get out of this soul sucking.
Get me out of law school.
And when I was at the BBC, that was kind of okay, I've done this, now I want to do something on my own terms.
Can you clarify what you were doing at the BBC?
So I was a production assistant, then I weaseled my way into writers' rooms, and then I weaseled my way to somehow becoming a medicine producer, and then I was doing my own thing, and then I was actually, I kind of want to have my own stories to tell no bosses. So and I'm really grateful that coincided with stuff happening with my writing outside of the BBC. So I was like, let me just take advantage of this opportunity and do that. And so for me, it was just jumping on opportunities that presented themselves and taking advantage of the fact that I was privileged for these opportunities to come up in the first place. And maybe let me just milk them as long as they last.
Yes, girl.
Take the white people's money. We know about that. We know about that.
Reparations. Reparations.
Amen. Shout out to the white people in the audience.
Yo, white folks, you owe us all at least $5 a piece.
Everyone gets around on you.
Everybody gets around. Yeah, we got some yeses. All right.
Reparations.
Shout out to the thumbs up.
So I want to talk for a minute about your academic career and your thesis, because as an African American woman, I'm very curious as to why you focused on how African American women have resisted and asserted power and Blackness through media and art. Why did you focus specifically on African American women?
I mean, it was immediately like an affinity because my degree is American politics and history. So I immediately chose every single thing to do with Black people. So let me just get like, so basically my degree is African American history. And I just felt like an immediate affinity, like naturally as a Nigerian girl and part of the Black diaspora, I just felt like a connection to the stories. And my thesis is actually focused on like lemonade.
Hey, all right.
It's got like,
Love it.
Insecure in it, and it's got like a little bit of Scandal, and actually, some Missy Elliott as well. So just like how like,
Is your feminine friend yet?
just how like Black women are reclaiming their identities and redefining their identities against like, I feel like so much of Black women in general have just been up to the white imagination have just done a number on our identities, because like I feel like they've just had like
you heard that amen in the back. A number. They've done a number.
And naturally create spaces a way like we can just take that agencies and say this is who I am. And I think it's just so powerful. Like Lemonade, I just remember like all of my girls, like there's like a group chat dedicated to that moment. And
where were you?
Just so powerful. And so I just thought I'd write 15,000 words on it and like see what the white professors have to say about it.
Yes.
How do you take back your agency and assert your power through your art?
I think it's literally about like, so my short story Netflix and Chill is literally about a girl like and a boy and a little cute love thing. And for me, that's what it's about. Just like liberation, telling our stories, and then allowing ourselves to like fall in love and be tender without having to go through all this hardship. And
Ooh,
like,
girl,
like,
just the Black story with no trauma.
And there's like,
obsession.
and it's like twined into her life. Like she goes through this like awkward interaction with the white guy because that's just like our party and that's just our lives. And but it's not like this huge thing. It's just like this thing that she deals with humor. And it's like not everything is like not everything's a huge struggle that we're just like, oh, whoa,
Woe is me.
Yeah.
I'm not singing like Negro spirituals about Tinder.
Yeah, like,
Oh Lord, he swiped left, I swiped right. Like no one's doing that all
like,
crazy. Sometimes
most
you're just out here living.
Right, like most of the time we just like shrug it off with a laugh, like, oh my gosh, this guy's such a douchebag, and then like move on. So I was like, I just want to write stories where it's actually our lives, and it's not like focused on our struggle, but us living and thriving.
Yeah. And being humans.
And being humans, exactly.
Which is not a thing that white people like to let us do.
Exactly.
Can I live?
Literally.
Can you tell us more about adapting this for the screen?
Yeah.
How do I watch this with my eyeballs?
That's happening soon. I'm currently in the middle of the Lemonade thesis, so it's on pause, but I'm working on that now. And I think I'm just having so much fun with it because I really want people, and and I really, like the characters are going to be dark-skinned and... And I really want it to be an opportunity where we can have like young, because there's such a lack of representation in terms of like Black actors and actresses in the UK, and I really want it to just be like unknowns in terms of like people that you haven't seen before, because I feel like the thing is with like the diversity in the UK, whatever you want to call it, it's like the same people over and over again, and we never get to. And
Y'all gotta know she put air quotes on that.
Yeah, air quotes, diversity,
listeners, yes,
whatever that means.
Diversity.
Which is why I say it's like more about creation, the representation, like making our own stories and telling our own stories, and then putting our people in our own stories, because like we can't just keep on like banging on the door, like hoping that they'll let us in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
Can I ask you about Twitter for a second?
Twitter.
Yes.
I don't actually have a Twitter.
Girl.
Lies. Look at these Nigerian lies on stage.
What is that?
So everyone put us onto you via Twitter. We were like, London, who should we have on? Everyone said you, first of all.
they did.
Also, in your Twitter, you have MTV Maid Coach.
Oh yeah,
And I
love that
desperately
show.
want that to be real.
I
Is it
love
real?
that
Were you
show.
ever once an MTV
I mean,
maid
that
coach?
is my dream, for them to bring it back and for me to be a maid coach. And for me to walk into somebody in the middle of their math class and be like, I'm your maid coach.
So for the folks who don't know what that show is, what is it and why did you like it so much?
Oh my gosh, it was just so great. Like, I mean, obviously with most things, when you look back at it, it's probably a little bit problematic. 'Cause it's like, I'm gonna give you a maid coach to make your life better. But it's basically like kids in high school, and maybe they're like a little bit quote unquote geeky, or like, you know, they really wanted to like grab the hot guy, and then they're like this maid coach that would be like, there was one time where there's like this European like dance musician came on and to make somebody like popular, which is just so random. Like they have the most random coaches, which is why I loved it. They'll be like, take them to stores, and they'll be like, this is, and then give them confidence training.
Yeah,
And
so the idea is that you're made into something, like
Yeah.
a popular person, or
Yeah.
like a stand-up comedian for a day,
Exactly.
or like a backup dancer
Or
for
a
some
rapper
reason.
for a
Yeah.
a rapper for the day. But what was really beautiful was like, it was like a spiritual thing too. Like they just got so confident
Speak on it, girl.
in themselves. Like, it wasn't just like a physical makeover, guys. It was like a spiritual.
Okay.
Like,
So what would you want to make someone over, or what would you want to coach them into doing?
oh, I don't know. Like
Or what would you want to be coached on?
Ooh.
What would I want to be coached on? Oh, I don't know, because I'm literally perfect. So that's
You know what? Fair.
Life flex.
I think what I would like to just generally is just for women to empower women and to like make sure they don't give their time of day to waste men, which is like a huge thing for me. Like, just like men are not worthy of us at all. Like,
Say that again.
Like,
Woo!
like if we're attracted to you, it's really not by choice. Like if it was up to me, like
I can't help this.
like, yeah, it would just literally just be like, you can do better without. It was my maid episode would just be like, you can do better without him. Dump him. Like,
Yes.
maybe just be like 30 seconds actually.
Hashtag dump him, girl.
Hashtag dump him.
Yes, that's my advice for all couples.
Literally.
All relationships.
If my
him.
girl's coming to me with a problem, just dump him. Like you don't need him. Like
If you have a boyfriend right now, even if he's cool, dump him.
dump him. Dump him.
He's gonna fuck up eventually.
Dump
Why
him.
wait? Every episode of Another Round is now available on Spotify. I know what you're thinking. Wait, Spotify has podcasts? Spotify did what now? Okay. Your place for all things music now has the world's most popular podcasts. To stream Another Round on Spotify, open the app, tap Browse, and look for us in the podcast section. Follow us and all your favorites to get new episodes in your library as soon as they drop. For more, head to spotify.com/podcasts. So, you may know our next guest from her recent roles in the TV shows, Netflix shows, Crazyhead and Chewing Gum. Yes. Yes. She is also writing a script for her next project that is loosely based on her own life. And she just announced that she's about to be a part of the play Labor of Love.
Woo.
That's labor spelled with a U because
Y'all know how y'all be doing.
England, right? So she's literally doing it all, and we're going to talk to her about everything. Please welcome to the stage Miss Susan Wokoma. Hey, hey, hey.
So we heard your dad was the inspiration for why you became an actor.
Oh, the inspiration.
Yeah.
You know what? The inspiration was people telling me that I was funny. I didn't really believe it myself. I just would sort of be funny. And people go, you should do something with that. And I was like what? Pray tell. And they were like, acting, you should. So I sort of got directed into acting by lots of really lovely teachers and you know, parents of friends sort of going, oh, you should do this and do that. So that was how I discovered it. It really wasn't a sort of light bulb moment where I went, this is my destiny. It was it's everyone else's fault. So it's not me. Just did what I was told.
So I would describe you as a successful actor or actress. And oftentimes people like to describe the narratives of people who become famous as overnight successes, especially women, especially people of color.
The it girl narrative.
Especially women of color. You don't jive with that, which I appreciate that. I would assume that your own career has been described in such a way.
A little bit, like I've been told by some people like, oh, you're a find. I'm like, I've been
A
here
find?
since- You're a find. Wow, like where have you come from? There's no one like you. I'm like, there's loads of us. Like,
Listen.
Yes.
I do find it quite weird when sort of go, oh, there's no one like you. I'm like,
Yeah.
I grew up with people like me. There's loads. Like, obviously, everybody is individual, but in terms of, I went out to the States and sort of loads of people sort of saying that, and I think I automatically reject the kind of you are special narrative because I think that's how you stop us helping each other, sort of going, I'm special, I'm the most special. I'm like, we're just an untapped resource when it comes to the mainstream. There's anybody who could do my job. I'm good at what I do. Like,
Sure, yeah.
Let's not get it twisted. Yes.
like if you want some like hot comic timing, I'm on my way. But what I mean is that there are plenty of young, black, dark-skinned, not size zero, talented actresses, comedians out there. So even though, I'm more than happy to take the work, there's always a bit in the back of my mind that's like, there's loads of us. And there's going to be a time when there's more of us coming up. And that excites me. There's safety in numbers. Like, I feel like I'll be happier when I'm like, oh, there's my girl doing that, and there's my girl doing that, and there's my girl creating that, and da-da. But no, it doesn't, it's not overnight. And I do feel like, regardless of race, which is something, that's not a sentence I normally say. This is rare, guys. But regardless of race, I spat to the floor there.
That's real.
Regardless of race, I do feel like the industry, the entertainment industry likes an overnight success and they love a discovery. And I feel like that, and they love a discovery when you're quite young. And I feel like that is dangerous because I've worked for a very, very long time and it's taken me this amount. I started acting professionally when I was 17 and I'm now 29. And the reality is that it's taken this long, or say a couple of years ago, before I got like my first resident character in a TV series. It took that long. And I think that there is comfort in going, oh, that's how long it's took for that person. It's different for everybody, but that's how long it took me, and there's no shame in that. And there's a lot of excitement and really cool stuff because I've been through like a lot of the shit. I can swear, right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Fuck yeah.
I did. Oh, good. Loads more where that came from. But no, I sort of reject the overnight thing because number one, it isn't my narrative, and also I think it's unhealthy to think that you just sort of come out of the womb and then you just start smashing it. That's just weird.
Like you didn't try, like you didn't work hard and shit for this.
Yeah, I find that weird. Not that I'm sort of saying struggle is excellent. I'd love to not struggle.
Sure. Who you telling?
Sure. I
would love
tag
to
team
be
that struggle. Pass it off.
I'd love to just.
I would love to be a rich kid of Instagram.
Thank you very much.
Just spending mama and daddy's money by the pool. So you've been working since 17. Do you feel like you've made it? You've had a lot of success. Do you feel like I've arrived? I'm living the life now.
Oh, not at all. Not at all. And I think it's because I've had to navigate this industry here from a very young age, and I've not ticked any kind of like the good black ideals. So
What does that mean?
Yeah,
as in, I'm not light-skinned, I'm not particularly slim, I don't sort of go, oh, you're dark-skinned, but you sort of remind me of Grace Jones. That's a thing that I've seen before, therefore, like, I recognize what that is. Like, I don't tick any of those boxes. And for a while, there would be really supportive people who just sort of not know what to do with me. And so I've been through all of that. Like, there's nothing worse than being a sort of chubby kid on TV when you're 17, 18, and you're looking at yourself going, rah, okay, that's how soft it is, okay. Like, when you have to stare at that, like the reality of that, you do a lot of growing up very quickly, but it doesn't feel sexy and glamorous. Like, it doesn't feel like I've made it. I feel like the thing that I've done is I said, I'm going to be an actress, and I am an actress, and that's dope. Like, that's so cool. But fame is something that it genuinely doesn't interest me. I'd like to be here for a while. Like, that is cool. And
Wait, tell
comes
me
of
more
it's
about
great.
why you're not interested in fame.
Because I think that it's changed. I feel like with social media, which I love and I'm very much part of, it's a different thing. Like I don't get recognized a lot, which is like where I am right now is really cool. It's very nice. Like I get wonderful, particularly black women come up to me and they don't sort of go, oh my God, like I want a picture. They just sort of go, don't stop.
Yes.
I'm like, it's like having...
Like in the middle of the grocery store, I'm gonna give you a pep talk right now.
I'll be in like a pharmacy, I'll be in like Boots or something, like, oh, I'm just gonna get some toothpaste. And there'll be some woman eyeing me and I'm like, oh, she wants a photo. She doesn't, she's gonna come up to me and she'll be like, don't stop, you must carry on to the end of time.
Yes.
Cool. Like that is, I can do that. And some days I've been like, oh, I'm just really sad. And someone would be like, I love your work. Like, it's so cool. So I love that. But to get to a point where I can't like go out and not have people hassle me or, do you know, that for me, because I love to dance. I love to like shake it. Like,
Okay.
just like little hang out. I'm great. Basically, that's code for I'm an excellent dancer.
Ooh, okay.
Yes, and it would annoy me if I'm like having a really, really good time and I got interrupted all the time. But there's to a certain degree, there's no control over that. But I do think that fame is something that you really have to work out a strategy of how you navigate it. I feel like you can't just arrive at it and have no plan. And to have a plan is boring and I find that restrictive. But of course, like if that was to happen, I'll sort my shit out. Like, of course I would. But I'd never sort of arrive at it like unprepared because you've seen so many times ahead of me and ahead of you guys and ahead of all you guys how it can go so desperately wrong.
Fame can be deadly. It's scary.
It can, guys.
It's super
Fame can be
scary.
really
I'm
deadly.
so curious what it was like on the set of Chewing Gum, because that show is such a yes. First of all, yes.
Yes.
But it's such a rare, like, specific vision of one black woman. Like,
Yeah.
It was created by a black woman.
Yeah.
like I can only
Yes.
imagine that set is so different
Yeah.
from like what it's like being on a show that's not created by a person who sees you.
Tell us everything. What was the set like?
The first series was so fun. So this was in 2015, and I think the reason why that first time is so exciting is because none of us knew what it was going to be. Like, genuinely, we knew that it was good and we were having a good time, but that's no reflection on, say, viewing figures, whether you get that second series. That means nothing. And I'd worked with Michaela before on a play, so we'd played sisters, and so there was a shorthand, which I'd never been on a set at that point where my opinion mattered. And where I had I feel like creative license over what I could do. Like, of course, there are time restrictions and all those things. And so I felt confident to go, hey, Tom, our director, I'd be like, hey, with this scene, I really feel like it should be played this way. So, bargain, why don't I do the scene this way and then I'll do it your way? And in the back of my head, I'm like, my way's better. And I'd have the space to do it my way, and he would always go, yeah, that was better. I'm like, I told you. But also we had, like, he was open to that. Everybody was open to that. And I had a ball. The second series, unfortunately, I was filming Crazyhead at the same time. So I literally was like, hi, bye. I was so tired. I was so on caffeine. It was unreal. And the thing is that what happens when you're in a successful show is that other opportunities arrive. And in a way, I was kind of like, damn, like, I kind of wish that it could be the first year again where there's nothing else but this show. But it's like, no, now all of a sudden I've got like a team and like things to do and things to write. So I miss that's what I sort of mean about, not being able to have things the way that they were, because there's something so beautiful about the first time round. You do something. Yeah.
Oh, I feel that so much. I can't even imagine doing a second podcast. The first time around was so much fun.
Heben, don't you dare cheat on me
I would
with another
never.
podcast.
I would never. I was just thinking about it. I was like,
nervous.
I can't even imagine.
Don't even play like that, Heben.
I'm sorry, Tracy. I'm so sorry. It's a terrible thought I just had.
We're going to pivot quickly away from this nightmare.
Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh.
See what you've done.
I know. I'm so sorry.
So, speaking of Crazyhead, I love it and I'm angry that there's no season 2.
The people are angry because
The people
we
are
hear
petitioning.
It's not coming back for a second season. It's
What?
just like not common for a
Yes,
Netflix
booze for it
show.
not coming back. What happens?
Well, what happened was, it was really weird because
What happened was
in the age of social media, people can just tweet you and go like, hey, when's there a second series? And we knew very early on that there wouldn't be a second series.
Why?
Because how do I say this in a diplomatic way?
You are among friends and family, girl. Nobody else will ever hear this.
Listen, I'll tell you, it exploded on Netflix, and that's where it found its audience, and that's where it found its very loyal fan base. And I feel like on Netflix, so what I say by Netflix, I mean internationally, is where you had loads of people. I had so many people come up to me or tweet me saying this was the character that we wanted in Buffy. Like, this is the character that was written to Buffy. And I knew that it meant more internationally than it did. And I also had a... Can I say this? I also had a meeting at Netflix as the show was airing here in the UK, and was told to sort of prepare myself to be a little bit let down by the UK. I was told.
By the UK's audience reception?
But yeah. I was prepared. And this was in October, so quite a while ago. And I just think that with terrestrial channels here, they still rely on things like on viewing figures and overnights and that sort of thing, whereas Netflix don't, and a lot of streaming services don't. They operate in a different way, and people's viewing habits have changed. I don't watch things. Yeah, I don't watch things.
Speak on it, baby.
Yes, sit on it.
Yes. They know Netflix's numbers.
Babies be knowing.
But like, people don't watch things live. I don't watch things live.
Sure.
And so if you don't watch it live in the UK with terrestrial channels, that means it doesn't get a second series. It's as simple as that. And so that was what's so heartbreaking, was to see it air on Netflix and get that reception. And we're already going, oh, we've missed it. We've missed the boat. And Netflix were only sort of co-producing it as well. The rights were with Channel 4. So we knew what was what. So as a company, as a cast, we were so sad, but we were already like moving on. And because that's the nature of what we do. We have to move on. Even with Chewing Gum, at the end of the first series, like, awesome, brilliant, this is amazing. And we move on because there was nothing telling us that we'd get series 2. It's the nature of us. So I grieved it, and then you move on. And so it was really heartbreaking. And I took it upon myself to tweet and say the show isn't out, because nobody was putting out.
That's how we found out about it.
Right. Also, Netflix doesn't have a habit of explaining why shows get put on or not, and like
so much trash on
why
Netflix.
something was canceled or not.
Well, this is why I decided to do it myself. I literally just woke up one day, I was like, enough. And I
I'm sorry, what was that voice?
Enough. That's my angry white man voice. Enough. I adopt it sometimes. But yeah, no, so I took it upon myself to just be like, you know what, it isn't happening. It was really sweet, and all the messages, and it still continues. The great thing about Netflix is that it's there. It's going to be there for as long as they decide, and then they'll take it down.
I think it's time to go to Pew Pew Pew.
I think it's time for Pew Pew Pew. Pew
Pew Pew Pew.
Wait, I'm sorry. What time is it?
I love that.
This is our rapid fire question segment called Pew Pew Pew, because these are finger guns and guns
Rapid
fired
fire.
quickly. Yes.
This is the idea.
Okay, question number 1. Would you rather be a zombie or a vampire?
A vampire, because they're hotter.
Ooh, that's true.
Instant answer.
Has there ever
If you're
been
going
a
to be
sexy
undead,
zombie?
you might as well look good.
Yeah. Also, zombies like look awful as soon as they turn into zombies. They never get like a svelte little like, you know.
Svelte.
Yeah. You know,
Ooh, good word.
like, you know what? I'm dead, but the outfit that I died in
It's
is still
popping
popping.
though. Dead, but make it hot. Yes.
Dead, but make it fashion.
Yes. Yes.
What's your favorite 90s R&B song? Ooh.
Oh.
No pressure.
Strong audience reactions to that one.
Sorry, that was such an intake of air. I feel like
Yeah.
I was dead because
It
I
was
just
hard
took your
to breathe
oxygen.
for a little bit.
Oh. Okay, it's got to be. This isn't my favorite.
Okay.
Just one that you love.
Just one
But
that
it's
gets you
gotta
hyped.
Be, Got Till It's Gone, Janet Jackson.
Okay.
That's 90s, right?
She was a thing
Solidly
in the 90s.
90s.
Oh, is it like that? Is that? It's just sexy. I remember watching
Yeah.
the video, sort of like getting feelings, but I didn't know what it was. I had a little
Yes.
heartbeat in me fanny. There was all these sexy people like,
Heartbeat.
and I was like, what am I
Y'all can't see the
feeling?
face she just made. It was beautiful. Tongue out, everything. I have some questions about what dating on this rainy island is like as a black girl.
Sorry, talk to me. I was not too busy laughing.
Take your time, take your time.
No, talk to me. Yeah, I'm ready.
Dating on this terrible rainy island. Tell me more. Real talk
Oh
though.
my God,
like,
how long have we
were the
got?
whole time we were like, hey, any black person we met on the street, where are the other blacks? This is not the entire trip.
And everybody was like,
Brixton, but not really.
Yeah. That's exactly what they said.
Okay. So like they were there at one point, gentrification, etc.
Right.
You know.
Then we like, okay, but where are you now? And
Yeah.
then it's like, hey.
Where the blacks now? Still laughing is the answer.
I can only talk about my experience
Sure.
on this island. And this is a minefield. How long have you got? It's interesting. I'll tell you a story.
Ooh, okay.
This is quick, don't worry, I'm looking at the time as well.
Oh shit.
When I was younger, when I was 6, right, I fancied this guy in my primary school, elementary school. Ooh. Oh my God, he was
Thank
so
you for the translation.
gorgeous. Yeah, got you. And I loved him. I absolutely loved him. And I thought that we were going to get married. And he told me, he was black. And he told me to my face, he was like, oh, actually, you can't be my girlfriend because you're too dark and everyone would laugh at me.
Was he light skinned?
No.
Wow. All right.
And that pretty much sums up my dating experience in the UK.
Okay.
Excellent story was just told.
Wow.
All the black girls in the audience are like, yes, girl, talk about it.
Absolutely.
I know that's not everyone's experience, but that's been mine. That's definitely been mine.
Okay. All right. Let's switch the subject entirely. Ooh, okay, here's a good one. What food should be completely banished from the earth forever? Lots of food feelings.
I think, there's so many suggestions.
Hey, don't you listen to them.
No, I'm
This
going
is
to
all
listen to
about
you. Do you know what? Is there a food that I am, like, really against?
Oh,
No.
girl.
I like all food. I like food. I would say any food that is small. You know when you go to fancy restaurants?
Yes.
I feel like with any kind of food, if you give me a big enough portion, I'll get into it. If the portion is too small, I'm like, I haven't begun and it's finished. You know when you go, they're fancy, and I'm bougie, so I go to these fancy restaurants like, yes, it's me. Yes, it's this. You have to have a bowl of cornflakes before you go, because otherwise you're hungry at the end. I love any kind of food, but if it's too small, I'm angry.
Really? So there's no food that you will not eat?
I'll try everything once.
Beans.
Beans, what
Greens.
kind of beans?
Potatoes.
Oatmeal.
Beans.
Tomatoes.
Go
Lamb, ram,
Pray tell, carry on.
Yo, I heard that in the club once. It went off. I'm not mad at it. Beans, greens, tomatoes, potatoes.
Rams.
Thank you.
Okay.
I found a favorite question of mine on Twitter.
Ooh.
From a one at Jesus Pinkman.
Okay.
Shout out to the Breaking Bad fans in the audience. If you could only save...
There were none.
There were none. A solid 2 right there. If you could only save one white woman and one white man during the race war that is inevitable, I added that. They didn't add that. Who would it be? One white man, one white woman.
That's a good ass question.
What you got?
That is a
Who's on your
good-ass
team
question.
for the race war that is inevitable?
Oh my God.
Like a fave white.
Do you want to listen? Because if we're talking about a race war,
Yeah.
I become straight up loyal. I'm like, bye everyone else. I'm like, I can't carry
So you're
anyone
not
else.
saving nobody.
No, let me think about it.
Okay. Give her time, Tracy. Give her
Okay.
time.
Oh, you're right.
But they're only like pure. Oh God, this is awful. My brain is going to a dark place.
Oh my gosh.
I'm
take us
listening.
there.
In terms of men, I'm like, well, who's good looking? I can't. Do you know what? Maybe this is too diplomatic, but if this is a race war, I'm staying loyal. Forget it. No one.
No one.
Let's abide by the rules here,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
And will they do the same for us?
Listen.
No. No, I'm going to
okay.
use that extra baggage space for my shoes.
Yes! Heben, who would you save, if anyone?
Of the whites?
Yeah.
Of the whites. I can't think.
You know what?
Why we get out there?
Who's
you
my
ain't gotta
favorite
do it.
white? You know I love The Good Wife. Someone from The Good Wife.
Yeah. If Tom Hanks wasn't secretly black, I would say Tom Hanks. But everybody knows Tom Hanks is a black man.
Yeah.
Or they should know.
I think it's time to move on, Tracy.
You never let me talk about Tom Hanks like I want to.
Settle down, settle down.
Hey, I'm Saeed Jones, aka The Ferocity on Twitter.
And I'm Isaac Fitzgerald, a.k.a. Isaac Fitzgerald on Twitter.
And we are the hosts of AM to DM.
It's a new live daily show from BuzzFeed News that you can watch Monday through Friday right in Twitter.
Okay, so here's how it works. On AM to DM, we are all about news you can use.
What is Trump feeling? How is that relationship?
Is he sending Trump like you up texts in the middle of the night?
Conversations you want to join.
Who has not looked at porn?
Who has not accidentally liked a tweet?
Yeah, I just think it's kind of weird he's looking at it on Twitter of all places. I prefer to just look at the apocalypse on Twitter.
And giving you info you need to go out there and kick ass every day.
So start your day with us on AM to DM from BuzzFeed News.
Only on Twitter.
It's like a podcast for your eyes.
Isaac, just stop.
All right. Have we time for rounds? Short rounds. Okay.
Baby, come through.
Yes! You better. Okay, so I would like to buy a round for, actually, wait, we're gonna buy a joint round, and this is the first time that we've ever bought a round together, just for you, London. We're buying a joint round for Janet Mock. So it sounds that we're all familiar with Janet Mock. If you are not familiar, she is a trans advocate. She's got the most amazing cheekbones I've ever seen in my life. Her husband, y'all. Janet
Their
is a friend.
wedding photos.
I covet her husband. Openly. But we wanted to buy a round for her because she's doing so much good work, and she's doing what Kimberly Crenshaw said on our podcast once, and she's putting her body, her physical body, where her politics are. And for a woman of color, for a trans woman of color, that means putting yourself in the line of fire. It means putting yourself in danger. And I don't know if y'all have been keeping up with what's going on in America. I advise you not to, because it's trash right now. But
Garbage fire.
comedians and entertainers have been really saying some awful, hurtful, toxic, dangerous shit.
Dangerous.
Physically dangerous about trans women. And we just wanted to do our part to combat all of the hate and all of the threats and all of the vitriol and all of the toxic masculinity that is keeping our society the way that it is. And we wanted to just, put love out there in the face of hate. And we just wanted to love up on some Janet Mock because she deserves it. She really deserves it.
Yes. She also has a podcast and a book out, and she's like doing a million freaking things. So you can definitely check her out on her show, Never Before the Podcast, and her book, Surpassing Certainty.
So, according to GLAAD, which is an organization that advocates and supports LGBTQ issues, we have lost 16 trans women of color in 2017 alone. 2017 is not even over yet. So, something that we wanted to do is to just say the names of the women that we lost, because these are humans, these are people, these are not just bodies, they're not just a part of politics, these are humans who have people who love them and miss them.
And I feel like part of the thing we were talking about earlier is being desensitized to these kinds of murders and these kinds of tragedies, and feeling like we're not even connected to the real humans who were a part of that story.
Yeah, and if we don't protect trans people, then all of us are at risk. All of us are at risk.
So we're going to take a moment to read a few of those names.
Misha Caldwell,
Jaquarius Holland,
Brenda Bostic,
Kendra Marie Adams,
T.T. Dangerfield,
Jamie Lee Wounded Arrow,
China Gibson,
Alfonso Watson,
Sherelle Faulkner,
Ava LeRae Barron,
JoJo Stryker,
Sierra McElvin,
Shay Reed,
Kene McFadden,
Ebony Morgan.
and Kiki Collier.
We need to hold each other accountable when we fuck up, when your brothers fuck up, when your sisters fuck up. If you don't correct them, if you laugh at their transphobic jokes, you are as accountable as they are. When you see fucked up shit, speak up, as long as it's safe for you. And God bless the dead. May there not be any more.
I also want to take a moment, yes. I also just want to take a moment to celebrate Janet's newest book. I was literally at her like book party last week.
The
and
pictures was so dope.
She's one of those famous people where they're like a famous brown person who's like actually dope and about that life behind the scenes in addition to in front of the scenes, which is not always a given.
It's not.
Like I was literally at her book party and she was like, Heben, you need to meet this person. Oh, she's on that show. You got to put her face on the TV. You know, like she was already like just giving me it wasn't even my book party. Anyways, Surpassing Certainty was really fun to read because she's mentioned this before, but she's done a lot of work that's in the explanatory comma phase, which is a thing I learned about through NPR's Code Switch.
Shout out to Code Switch.
We really try to make our show not an explanatory comma show where we have to apologize all the time or explain all the time who we are and what our references are. And her second book is like, I don't have to do that. I don't have to do like trans 101 training for everyone. I can just talk about my 20s and like being a stripper and a dancer and like my hair and like all the boys I went out with or whatever, you know?
Being human.
Being a human in your 20s and just enjoying life. So I really enjoyed that book and I was glad I got to experience that.
Yeah.
And there's an epigraph in that book. I feel like all books come to you at the right time. Like, don't be worried about if you haven't read all the books at the right time, whatever. Books come to you when they come to you. And her epigraph came to me and the book came to me at a perfect moment. And I just want to read that epigraph for y'all. From Audre Lorde, of course, the God, the Lord. And the speaking will get easier and easier, and you will find you have fallen in love with your own vision, which you may have never realized you had. And you will lose some friends and lovers and realize you don't miss them. And new ones will find you and cherish you. And you will still flirt and paint your nails, dress up and party because, as I think Emma Goldman said, if I can't dance, I don't want to be a part of your revolution. And at last, you'll know with surpassing certainty that only one thing is more frightening than speaking your truth, and that is not speaking. Audre Lorde, via Janet Mock, my queen.
All right.
Yes. Shout out to Janet Mock.
Yes, give it up for Janet Mock.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. So typically you would have to sit through us reading our credits, which we talk too much, so we don't have time to do that. But I do want to send a quick shout out to our moms, Nina and Eleanor. Thank you for being here with us.
Shout out to the Pod Squad.
Shout out to the Pod Squad. Shout out to London. Shout out to y'all.
Shout out to London.
Thank you for coming to see us. Thank you for having us. Thank you to the Shout Out Network.
Shout out to brown people in London.
Yes.
We finally found them.
We did.
We finally found them.
Haven't we made it?
Yeah.